So, welcome to CEO Confidential from Frank Pagano and Pierangelo Soldavini.
And welcome also from me. Today we are talking about sustainability from an original point of view.
Indeed, and we have a sustainability rock star with us. Welcome to the show, Tom. First question right off the bat. Who are you and what do you do for a living?
Hi, I'm Tom Crowther, and I'm a research ecologist at the ETH Zurich, studying ecosystems and how they interact with the climate.
Super good. Thank you for joining us. Thomas, you have your own lab, actually, as a matter of fact, inside ETH. What was the idea behind creating your own thing, your own lab?
So ultimately, we have a very good understanding of the physics and the chemistry of our planet, but it's the biology that regulates the climate system and the water cycle and all the processes that we need for life on the planet. And that is where we have a lot of the biggest uncertainty about the planet. And so we put together this team of experts with a range of different skill sets to try to better understand Earth's ecosystems and how they regulate the climate.
Yes, Tom, in a world that, as you said, is interconnected, everything is depending on the other side, and the linear model is in some way dead. Can you explain to us briefly what is the world situation right now and how much time do we have before it's too late?
So it's an interesting question. How much time do we have before it's too late? I guess that depends on what you define as too late. Certainly, climate change has begun, and it has already initiated many biological feedbacks that will continue to go, even if we did manage to stop our emissions right now. And it highlights only the urgency of preventing our future emissions as soon as we physically can, so that human populations and biodiversity will be able to adapt and respond to the inevitable increasing temperatures that we're going to see over the rest of this century.
Yes, and if the linear model is dead, we have to adopt a circular model. What is exactly circularity in your opinion?
Yeah, I take circularity as a system that promotes the recycling of resources and the reusing of resources to minimize waste. And it's almost like it's based on the processing within natural ecosystems that have sustainable, maintaining, ongoing systems that support everyone within that ecosystem. And I think the more that our society and our companies and organizations can take on this mindset, the more sustainable our future will be.
Thomas, a question regarding energy. So let's divide, and I know this is very simplistic, let's divide green energy versus energy based on fossil fuels. What is the share of the two today, and what the share should be in the future in order for us to survive?
So this isn't specifically my key area of expertise, I should stress, but from our understanding of the system that we use to date, renewable energy is certainly the fastest growing energy system that we have right now, growing almost at an exponential rate across the globe. And at the moment, it's responsible for almost about 11% of the global energy budget. And as I say, that's constantly growing all the time. So hopefully that's something that we can invest more and more energy in. Now, of course, that's going to take some time, and we're going to need a constant and sort of sustainable transition from fossil fuels over into the renewable sector. And hopefully that can take place very rapidly in the next 10, 20, 30 years. But the more effectively and efficiently we do that transition, and the more quickly we do that transition, the better it's going to be for all of us.
Now I'm interested in the impact between sustainability and business. So becoming more sustainable can put my supply chain under stress, sometimes with devastating effects on business. So how do you get out of this dilemma? And do you have examples of companies that do that well?
Well, I do understand that any change in any system puts that system under stress, and that can be really concerning to many leaders. But at the same time, in the vast majority of cases, when we talk about circularity and we talk about improving sustainability, that also comes with the synergistic effect of improving efficiency. And in most cases, improving efficiency within your supply chain will ultimately save you money and save you stress in the long term. And so for examples of people doing it well, I would point towards organizations like Bula and like Salesforce, organizations that we work very closely with, who are both looking within their supply chain to see how they can improve efficiency. And every small tweak in efficiency for organizations that huge can save millions of dollars. And at the same time, for what they can't save in efficiency within their system, they use then insetting to try to capture additional carbon or protect additional ecosystems beyond their scope. And I think that combination of approaches to reduce emissions and improve efficiency within their system and then try to have a positive impact beyond can really have powerful impacts, not just on their own sustainability, but also their customer base is certainly going to rise and grow and be more engaged as a result of those improvements.
Yes, Thomas, as you said, the fossil fuels are the main cause of all this mess. But there is also agriculture, industry, traffic, population. We know the problems are and the causes are different. Which is the most impactful program to start with to engage this problem?
Well, first, I'd say that there is no single solution to climate change or biodiversity loss. We need all solutions now. This is far too big to be squabbling over individual solutions. However, from my own personal perspective, we must understand that, yes, as you say, fossil fuel emissions have what has got us into the state of climate change. And at the same time, extensive land use as a result of extensive agricultural development has also caused the reduction of natural ecosystems that regulate those climate systems. So that's why I'm really excited to see organizations like Bula, who are a centerpiece in the agricultural sector, trying to improve efficiency across the entire sector. And if they can improve efficiency by even 5 or 10%, the impact on nature and sustainability and the reduction in carbon emissions and the protection of biodiversity would be absolutely fantastic. So the more we engage with these sectors, the agricultural sector and also the, big business, the more we're going to see these huge reductions in human impacts.
Yes, at that more general level, this complex world, as also the pandemic emergency underlined, needs leadership from many points of view. In your opinion, what is leadership and who is the leader in the future?
That's a very good question. For me, leadership is the ability to empower the people that work with you and work towards your vision or your mission. And I think the leader of the future is going to be one that is not seen as someone who has employees working for them. They are someone who effectively works for those employees to empower them to achieve as much as they can towards those collective goals. And when that happens, then the sort of collective community impact will be much greater.
Thomas, on the business side now, similar question. So it's a good tag on to what Pierangelo just asked. So you work with so many CEOs. What are the 3 features of the CEO of the future that you would like to see?
I think ultimately it has to involve that in the empowerment of the people that work towards that goal. I think the first goal of the CEO is that humility. I think the other challenge that CEOs of the future are going to increasingly need to recognize is the interplay between the organization and the wider society. We can no longer see organizations as independent units that have their impact on the world, but they don't consider those impacts, and they just keep moving ahead independently. We know that just like a natural ecosystem, every organization is part of this ecosystem of humanity, and every resource taken by one organization takes away from society or from people elsewhere. And so improving the sustainability of those practices is going to be absolutely essential. And we are seeing that as more and more and more companies start to have, really responsible people like sort of sustainability officers and chief sustainability officers that can help to integrate those ways of thinking. And I think the third one is ultimately about, rather than moving towards a single idea of what a successful person is within your employees, instead trying to promote the different ways of thinking and the different approaches that individuals take to try to promote a diversity of approaches as we try to move towards unified goals. So it's about identifying the goal and trying to promote the different approaches in going towards it.
Thomas, we have an opinion in this space. You can change things via 4 things. So new technologies, sustainability, marketing, mindset. You only have 1 bullet. Where would you start?
Personally, I would aim at sustainability, because sustainability ensures that your organization can continue to function and grow within a community of organizations and within the society that we have. Although achieving that sustainability necessarily will require the other things that you just mentioned. It will certainly require strong and empowering leadership, at the same time as the responsible messaging and the technological solutions that are going to need that. So ultimately, I hold sustainability the highest for organizational success at this point.
Yes, and Thomas, remaining at the business level, you are in touch with bigger corporations like Salesforce and business networks like the World Economic Forum. Do you believe the C rooms are actually fit today to manage change? Is there hope for us?
Now, this is an interesting one because you can see both sides of an argument. First, I believe that the C-level rooms are the places where people hold a lot of power and a lot of influence over the world. And with every single responsible and sustainable decision, those are the people that can empower large numbers of people within their organizations and beyond to start moving towards that sustainable future. But at the same time, it must be recognized that that is not the sole baton that we have for making sustainable change. We need everyone everywhere to be engaging, and the engagement of a large organization should not come at the expense of every single individual one of us getting involved in these movements, because nothing will happen without the engagement of every single one of us.
Yes, and let's change a little bit the point of view. We need to change also from the sustainable point of view. Which is the main obstacle to get today to change?
I would say that the greatest obstacle to change is this idea that individual success is the individual financial success is the metric of true success. I believe that If we could change mindsets towards improving a sustainable development for everyone, then certainly many of the decisions that have led to the degradation of our planet would not have happened. And the more we can shift over our mindsets to improving human well-being and societal well-being and biodiversity conservation, being rooted in the core of all of those sustainable decisions, the more successful and happy and impactful we will be as a society.
Okay, with this call to a sustainable mindset all over the world, I would like to thank Thomas Crowther, and from me and Frank Pagano, really thank you for your opinions, very useful to our CEO Confidential journey. And thank you to all those who have been with us today, and see you next time with CEO Confidential. Thank you.
Thank you so much.